Thank you for joining us today. I'm Mike Teplisic, President of Earthlink. We're proud to sponsor this Technology Association of Georgia event and help bring together some of the great technology and marketing minds to share their wisdom. From the beginning, Earthlink has had a commitment to keeping our customers connected. Now, more than ever, we know how important connection is to work, school, home, family, and friends. At Earthlink, it's our mission to bring together the best people with the best technology to continue to serve our customers and our communities better every day. Earthlink continues to invest in and partner with the Georgia technology community to accomplish this, and we couldn't be happier to be part of TAG and this event. Today, you'll get to hear how these amazing companies are putting their purpose, customers, and clients first and leading the way in Georgia. So thank you so much for joining us today for this important session.
Summit. Thank you for joining us for this session focused on purpose, activation, and belief, and how technology companies are traveling this important road. I'm Erica England, Director of Media Relations at Archetti Group, a B2B technology PR and marketing agency based here in Atlanta. With me today, I have a great panel of technology executives, including Mary Ford, CMO at Centegix, Sean Reynolds, CMO at Logility, and Scott Klinger, SVP of HR and Marketing at Earthlink. If each of you, starting with Mary, could introduce yourself and your company, that would be great. And then we'll go ahead and roll forward with questions. Mary?
Great. Thank you, Erica. Thanks for inviting us to be here today. Again, I'm Mary Ford. I lead marketing and sales enablement for Centegix. We are an Internet of Things company, and we innovate technology to save and enrich lives. Our incident alerting solution that is called Crisis Alert is the fastest and easiest way for staff to get help when they need it. And we deploy that solution mostly in K-12 school districts, healthcare situations like hospitals, and also in hotels. We protect over 1,200 locations and over 1 million people across the country. And I'm proud to say that last year we were one of the top 10 most innovative companies in Georgia. And this year we made the top 40 list. So we appreciate TAG. I've been a volunteer with TAG for a long time, and we're thankful for everything that the organization does.
Awesome. Love it. Sean, why don't we toss to you?
Sure, Erica. Thanks. And thanks for having me. I'm CMO of Logility. We're a subsidiary of American Software that calls their home Atlanta. We are a pioneer in the supply chain innovation space, and we have been providing innovation and services to some of the world's greatest brands for 40 plus years. We have recently been recognized as a leader in the Magic Quadrant at Gartner, which we're really proud of, and continue to provide incredible innovation and services globally to some of the best brands that many are probably familiar with. Brands like Starbucks or Fender or Tillamook Cheese, Moen, just to name a few. Several customers and large brands that most would be familiar with rely on Logility to provide them resilient and unique innovation for their supply chain.
And last but not least, Scott.
Hello, I'm Scott Klinger, leader of HR and marketing for Earthlink. Honored to be a part of today's panel. Earthlink is a top U.S. Internet service provider to more homes and small businesses than any other ISP. We were founded in 1994 and affectionately refer to ourselves as a 27-year startup. And we try and offer consumers the right connection without data caps, throttling, or unnecessary bundles. We're proud to have been certified last year as a great place to work, and just excited to be a part of TAG. Our president, Mike Teplisic, is on the board and has been actively involved in TAG for a number of years. And we look forward to today's conversation.
Start with just getting a better understanding of how each of your organizations are defining purpose and sort of putting that into practice. Mary, I'll go ahead and start with you. If you want to share a little bit about how your organization defines purpose, that'd be great.
Thanks, Erica. So let me first share that after having worked for many different technology companies, like one of my criteria when I look at an organization is, do they have a mission that I can be proud of, right? We all work really hard in our careers. How do we know that we're getting up every day and really making a difference? And earlier I shared that our tagline, our mission at Centegix is to innovate technology to save and enrich lives. And that's all great marketing speak, but at the core of it, I like to think of it as we're really trying to help people feel safe and secure in their spaces. And the solution that we provide enables people to literally, at the push of a button on a small IoT device that we give them, to call for help. And so that basic thing of people just want to feel safe and secure. And over the past year, that feeling has really never been more important. And as I look at the data and what's happening in our society right now, unfortunately, as people are exiting COVID lockdowns, COVID shutdowns, right, periods of unemployment and stress at home, we're seeing the rate of violence in society, unfortunately, nearly double. One of the stats I've seen recently is that, unfortunately, mass shootings are up have almost doubled in the first quarter of last year. So when we think about our purpose, it really comes down to that, is how are we helping people feel safe and secure, whether it's teachers and staff in a school or housekeepers in a hotel, or healthcare workers in a hospital situation. When I get emails from prospects who say, I mean, literally this prospect email just stopped me in my tracks. This person wrote into me and said, can you please give us a quote for your solution? Our housekeepers are being attacked at an alarming rate. I mean, and I've repeated that quote to several people in our organization, and literally just takes my breath away. So when you have such a powerful way that technology is helping to save lives and help people feel better about what they do, I feel like our purpose comes through every day in what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely more important than ever, as you shared. Scott, if you can jump in and talk as well about how your organization defines purpose, and how it may be pivoted in the past year, just in light of the pandemic and social injustice and all the other challenges that we faced in the last year. Kind of a tough question.
No, absolutely. And I think Mary spoke to it wonderfully. In 2019, Earthlink went through a brand strategy process, really to get laser focused around our brand purpose and why we do what we do, why we show up every day. And as Mary said, you want to be that brand that everybody wants to be associated with. And what we came up with was to create and protect meaningful connections. And that was in 2019. And that means getting consumers the right connection, which became even more important during the pandemic. And everybody's in lockdown mode a year ago and having to connect for work and for homeschooling. And that's what we do. So our brand promise to consumers was, to really listen, to understand and intentionally design a service that delivers exactly what consumers need, not more, not less, but exactly what they need. And everybody elevated their game, where we were offering straightforward guidance to help them during that time, when being connected was never more important. And frankly, when people or the world was threatened by distrust, I mean, people didn't know what to trust, but we were able to either help them or get them to a place where they needed help.
Thank you. And Sean, I will let you weigh in on this as well. We had talked earlier in the week about some of the changes that Logility is going through, and how you all are sort of redefining purpose and what that looks like for the organization. So if you can just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I might have noticed I dropped out. My internet connection may not be the best. Maybe I should talk to some of those that are on the panel. Sorry about that. But yeah, you're right, Erica. There've been, I think, because of the recent 2020, which was difficult for everyone, but I think most would probably agree that the two words supply chain have become really important. And as a result of that, the focus and attention around what we need to deliver as far as innovation and services for our customers and some of the largest brands in the world that are relying on us really forced us as a company to really calibrate and think about what is our purpose, what are we trying to do, how do we collaborate better, and all of that really raised up the value of our purpose and what we do. We enable supply chains that improve people's lives and make the world we live in better. And that became a central theme for us as a company over the last year, as we realized how important the innovation and services are that we provide to our customers and how much they were really relying on us. So it really changed the way we look at the value that we bring to the market and how important it was for all of us as employees and teammates to really stay focused and really to take pride in the purpose that we bring to the market as a provider of innovation and services for what really makes the world go round. And that just changed the way we feel as a company about our purpose and collaboration, teamwork, the passion that is so important to bring to the office every day, or whether it's your home office or one of our locations globally. So that's that. I think, again, as we discussed on some of our earlier calls, I believe because of the incredible stress and changes that we've all experienced over the last year, it's really focused all of us on our purpose.
Yeah, and that purpose definitely radiates to your partners as well. I'll say that, having worked with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Erica, could I add just a couple points that came to mind while Sean was talking?
Absolutely.
So, Sean, you were saying, passion for what you were doing. And that reminded me that really in the first stages of lockdown, one of the things that we really had to do was be compassionate, of course, to our customers, right? School districts, I can't imagine one of the more challenging jobs over the past year is being anybody that works in a school district and having to keep so many different constituents happy. So when everything first shut down, we had to immediately realize that that particular market for us had a whole different set of priorities, and we needed to be compassionate towards them. And we really needed to listen. And by listening to what they were going through and some of the challenges that they were having, that then led us to actually figure out how to use our technology to give them another solution that could help them open schools more quickly. And so we found a way to leverage our Internet of Things network to give them a contact tracing solution that we called Contact Alert. So there was a lot of compassion and listening that then helped us find a better way to serve them. And going through all that also and seeing what was happening, mostly in the healthcare space, challenging ourselves to say, like, okay, we've got this great solution, but are we doing enough for people? We've done so much work in the education sector. Should we really be helping other people too? And so that led us to figure out how can we be getting into especially hospital systems, because you can imagine what they've been through. And so just more way, like, how do we, I always look at a mission as that thing that you strive to say, like, are we doing everything we absolutely can to fulfill our mission to the fullest extent? And that really led us to figure out, are there other people we can be helping with our solution?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just an interesting point, Mary. I can't help but think, I know we've all had our own experiences over the last year, and it's really changed the way we think about everything. And as leaders in the supply chain space, it became so important for companies to deliver on their own brand promise, or to bring and deliver the goods and services that the world needs. It really just changed the way we as a company felt about our commitment to our own promise. What do we need to do to deliver so that we could help these companies, if it's producing PPE for frontline workers or bringing food to the shelves. We are an important part of that. And it made us as a company realize how important all of that is in the context of just the changes that everyone was going through, and be a bit more compassionate and think about what it is that each of us are going through individually and how we as a company could help the world become a better place. And that's just become a strong central theme. And more importantly, it's driving us. And I think compassion is probably an important part of everyone's life now. We're just listening more, thinking more, being empathetic, and certainly considering everyone's circumstances a bit differently as a result of last year. But that's an interesting point that you made, Mary.
Yeah, and not just in products too, but other initiatives that you're rolling out. And Scott, I want to bring you into the conversation because specifically thinking about compassion and empathy, we talked about, how you guys are taking a more humanistic approach to communication, whether it be with customers or employees, and how you're putting purpose into practice that way. Can you kind of share some examples there?
Absolutely. We've always kind of taken a 360 view on how we deliver on our purpose. But Mary and Sean mentioned some key words, whereas in light of the last year, everything was elevated as far as humanity and compassion. And fortunately, we've got a partnership ecosystem and an empowered culture that has always allowed us to advocate and protect our customers. And fortunately, we've got a pretty iconic brand and nimble model, which gives us the independence to go above and beyond. But we took this to a whole nother level when it comes to employees and partners. And especially in the early days of the pandemic, we moved very aggressively and intentionally to advocate and protect our people and our partners with the same sense of passion and urgency that we took with customers. And this went beyond your Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I mean, it was really thinking about our protecting and advocating for our people beyond Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, our partners beyond Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, even consumers. We were an early adopter of the FCC's Keep Americans Connected, because immediately people were struggling. And the last thing they could afford to lose was their connection. And so very proud of our people and the company and moving rapidly to help humanity. And I think this is something that's going to stick far beyond this recent pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone want to weigh in on that before I jump into my next question?
No, but other than I just completely agree. I think this is a new way of living, and how we collaborate and think about our business and our people has changed forever.
Absolutely. And digging more into our people. So want to hear a little bit more. I know Mary and Scott, you both in particular oversee employee engagement. Scott, you oversee HR. So I am curious to hear, how you guys are conveying purpose and getting buy-in from your employee base, and also to what impact purpose is having on, employee recruiting and retention as well. So Mary, I'll maybe kick it to you since Scott just commented.
Sure. So when I think about how it's coming through for our employees, I want to first address how we approached the whole discussion of how are we physically working together when everything around COVID happened. And we have the way that our business operates. I couldn't necessarily say to everybody, listen, you need to stay home, locked in your dining room, bedroom, wherever it is that you're working, right? Because we do have some obligation to be in the field supporting our customers. And so the way that we structure our message, going back to it's all about helping people feel safe and secure, is I laid out the priorities. I said, there's clearly all kinds of restrictions going on in the world, but here's what we want to portray as what's important to us, the company, for our employees. The first is that you need to think about doing whatever it is that you need to do for you and your family to keep people safe and happy and productive. The next priority is taking care of our customers. And then the third is, of course, we have to get the job done. And so we never came out and said the office is closed. We said, this is what's important. You need to do what's right to keep you and your family, safe, happy, and healthy. And then our customers and get the job done. And even as we look towards adjusting, as I think many of us are, what our office space looks like for into the summer months as things start to reopen, we just continue to reinforce that message over and over. So that's how it comes through for our employees. And I think, and you guys will hear this from me a lot today, but continuing to use those stories of very specifically, how is your company helping somebody? Every time I have a story like that to share, our employees hear it. And the more that they're equipped and empowered to understand the really daily impact that we're making, that's inspiring to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wants to be a part of, making a difference. And so sharing that story really, really helps them see that in play. Scott, how about you? So talk a little bit about, how you engage employees in purpose and what you're seeing as far as, purpose's role in recruiting and retention.
Yeah, we again, it gets pretty basic and simple, and it's, who we are or who we aspire to be. And we believe we aspire to be abiders of the golden rule. I mean, live by treating everyone the way we want to be treated, which is linked by a set of common beliefs: integrity, transparency, respect. But we very passionately take a principled stance on the positive aspects of a connected life. And again, it's never been more important, whether that applies to consumers, employees, partners. And as our CEO says, we believe that one person won't make us great, but that one person can hold us back from being great. And that means achieving our purpose and doing great things for humanity, whether that's in our communities, for our people, for consumers, or partners. And one thing I want to add to that, it's, again, that the environment we lived through in 2020 reminded us that, safety and well-being of our employees is critical. And that meant, as I said earlier, going beyond thinking about it Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. It's thinking about it, after work. Because we were finding, like most brands, people were working harder than they ever worked, and were suffering all the negative fallout that Mary talked about earlier. And so we believe by doing right by people, paying it forward, it's more than a P&L, and that will come back tenfold.
John, it looks like you want to weigh in. Go ahead and share.
Yeah, I just think it's just reminded me of what we have done as a company over the last year, and the exposure and deeper communications with all of our people, level of compassion. We've taken some of the same measures that Mary, you had commented on, and it was Scott. We've spent a lot of time over the last quarters helping communicate more with our team, recognizing those that are within the company, our employees that show great examples of our values, passion, accountability, curiosity, teamwork. These are really core tenets to the values of the business. And also exposing some of those great customer stories that really show how important what all of us are doing, and how much our customers really rely on us. It's just helped the company become a better place, grow deeper relationships and open up a line of communication that perhaps didn't exist. I don't know. He's been around for a long time, but I don't think it's been this like this for a long time. And it's just created a level of commitment to each other, which is really nice. And that 24/7, Scott, like you mentioned, just being on and open 24/7 and aware of what's happening is been a big part of the leadership team's change, I think, over the last several months.
Yeah, and I want to add to what Sean just said. It's because most brands say our people are our most important asset. But this pandemic has really forced brands to really walk the talk and take that to another level. Because how critically important our communities, our people are. And when I say I'm referring to 360, it's partners, our people, our customers, and just how critical they are to achieving environmental, social objectives, and cultivating a diverse, inclusive environment where people know they're looked after. And again, that goes 24/7, just because they're just so critical to achieving business success. But we need to ensure that their personal success is one less thing they got to worry about during these times. And I think we're doing all the right work. We still have a lot of work to do, but it's really accelerated movement in the right direction. So there, as horrific as it may be, there is goodness coming out of this period in time.
Well, and the focus that you all are putting back on your people, I mean, that's going to pay off from a retention standpoint, right? I mean, people will stay at places where they're happy and they're valued and feel like they're a part of driving that purpose and mission forward. So that certainly is going to be a great payoff there. So want to dive into, Sean, I'll kick this back to you, talking about, sharing customer stories and how purpose is being put into play there. You work with some of the largest consumer brands, and you're seeing firsthand that consumer demand for purpose-driven brands that are really good stewards of ethics and sustainability, that's in high gear. Do you think that same demand or expectation is presenting itself for B2B companies and technology companies in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as the consumers become much more empowered and control the expectations of the brands that they're buying from, digital transformation is all about the acceleration of delivering on those promises for those customers. And that's brought companies like ours closer to what those purpose of many of our customers and how they deliver, so that we're actually focused on the promise that they deliver to their customers, maybe so more now than ever. And that's changed the way we engage with our customers as partners and how we work with them through those larger, challenges that they're dealing with. But early on in the, hate to keep reflecting on the last year, but it is important. It's been a big part of who we are as providers of supply chain innovation. Companies that were struggling to deliver PPE to the frontline workers were relying on us. And that brought a whole new level of importance to what we do. Brands like Tillamook was an incredible company that was pivoting to deliver food to restaurants and hotels around the world. They had to change, make change.
I'll just
Their
jump
cheese is
into that commercial.
And by the way, their ice cream is off the charts, and you'll now start to see that on the shelves in the grocery stores as a result of collaboration and leverage of some of our innovation and services. They had to make a big pivot to change their business, and to be a part of those big transformations has really been important for us. The challenges that are happening globally with traceability of products and services, so that they're delivered in an ethical and way to the consumer. We talked about the regions of the world that might be using forced labor and are delivering services. Brands that are responsible for that need to have better visibility into where all their supply chain is and what's being delivered to the marketplace. So we're now part of a bigger movement with our customers as they make massive changes in what's important to how they deliver their products and their promise to their customers. It's brought us closer to the strategy of transformation of their business, their brand, their promise. And that's been an exciting part about what we do in the industry. We're not just simply providing technology to help them bring products and services to market. We're part of a cultural shift in how they deliver ethically and bring services and products that are going to help them deliver on their promise. So that's a bigger and more important level of engagement with our customers that we're really excited about.
Erica, if I could jump in there next, because Sean just used the word culture within customers. And so last fall, as schools were beginning to reopen, I was starting to hear from, especially superintendents, sort of the stream of thought around it. They're very tense times in schools, and they were doing everything that they could to figure out how to help create positive culture and really support, especially their teachers that were caught in the midst of all of these, just all the challenges, right, as we've said. And so we put together a thought leadership series that I called Creating Positive Culture in Tense Times. And the whole theme of that was having superintendents or chiefs of security in our school district customers talk about how technology was helping them actually improve culture through its implementation. So you all have heard me say that our solution, it's about safety and security. We equip teachers and staff to be able to get help at the push of a button, right? There's a lot of technology and it's about safety, and unfortunately, scary things happen in schools all the time, whether it's a kid getting hurt on the playground or a suspicious person walking around. And because we had districts that were willing to give our solution to every teacher and staff and helping them both feel like they were supported and being safe and better equipped to do their job and when they need it, it's amazing to hear those superintendents talk about how technology and empowering their teachers and staff really helped improve the culture in their environment. So it's not that security is limited to, hey, it's just the chief of police or the SRO that's wandering. Really, everybody can help contribute to creating a safer learning environment.
Yeah, that's absolutely imperative now, and I mean something that's top of mind for everyone. Safety. So that's great. Scott, I want to ask you. I mean, how has being more purpose driven brought you closer to your customers, and what is that kind of taking the shape of? Is that translating in sales or anything else?
Absolutely. And again, you're asking like who loves us, who advocates for us, and we want promoters of a positive experience because we believe the experience is the brand. And we believe in it. Again, like Sean said, I hate referring to 2020 all the time, but I do think it's as challenging as it's been, it has accelerated some positive movements that will stick long term. But we want those who've experienced the brand, whether it's consumers, partners, people that they've seen a purpose-driven brand the way it should be, and will no longer look at brands the same way again. And we believe those moments in time, those experiences translate into loyalty that's not easily broken in advocacy for the brand. And again, it goes well beyond a P&L. And we believe that those attributes will stick as we move forward.
Great. Well, curious, and this might be a simply answered question, but curious how you all just measure how well your purpose is resonating with employees and customers. So, not sure who wants to take that first. You can raise your hand if you want to be the brave volunteer.
I'll just jump in real quickly as, currently we use traditional approaches. But as we mature our capabilities, we're looking to quickly accelerate movement into some new areas. But whether that's through crowdsourcing or your CSAT surveys or net promoter scores or, brand research or great places to work. But we try and get a 360 view to quickly assess, again, are we living our purpose? And candidly, we're pleased with the feedback, but there's continuous opportunities for improvements to execute on that purpose. So we're not going to stop until there's never an ending point. It's continuous.
We measure, much like Scott had mentioned, but we are and spending a lot more time encouraging our team to live the values of the business and rewarding them for acknowledging them and rewarding them for purpose and values that are really important to the business that, as I'd mentioned before, have become we're a bit more vocal about that and what we think our purpose is in the marketplace, what we're doing for our customers, and what's important for all of our own employees. So we follow some of those traditional models and metrics that Scott had mentioned, but we're also spending a lot of time with our employees to expose those great stories, expose our purpose, what our customers think, what we expect of all of us. We're holding each other accountable to do great work, live by the values of the business that have been defined and the purpose that we're driving in the market. So it's just become a bigger conversation, I should say, recently within the organization. And it's always nice to see and hear, recognize and reward people for that. And it's a wonderful feeling, frankly. It's just a wonderful feeling to be a part of an organization that is really driven by purpose and collaboratively helping each other grow and helping our customers grow, delivering all of those wonderful things that we think are really important. And then recognizing and rewarding people for all of that has just been a fun part of being a part of the leadership team here at the company. So excited about it.
Mary, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Erica. So when I think about how I know that our brand is resonating, right? If you go back to that classic definition of brand, it's what people are saying about you. And to me, what resonates is when I have our existing customers tell us about the organic interactions that they're having with our prospects. So when they tell us that, hey, so-and-so from some other school district called me to ask about you, or even better, hey, I'm hosting a session at my school so that other people can learn about your solution. That to me is a great proof point that our brand is on track. How I can measure all that organic stuff, maybe Scott and Sean can give me some advice about that, because it seems like it's that anecdotal thing. But when I hear those stories coming through and I see the inbound lead volume of people just simply reaching out and saying, hey, I've heard you can help us, like that to me resonates really well. And in many ways, better than some metrics that I could go out and measure, right? It gives me that story that has such power.
Well, with the last few minutes remaining here, I do want to give everyone a chance to give our TAG Summit attendees some practical advice on, what are some first steps they can take to actually put their purpose into practice. For some folks, startup companies, even figuring out what that purpose is and how to convey that. So, Scott, I'll go ahead and start with you since you're off mute. Answer.
Thank you. you know, my only practical advice is really to just take that first step. And it's always the hardest. Is it going to be, so the process is just really bringing together the key stakeholders. And like Mary was referring to, kind of the word of mouth. It's having a dialogue together to really crystallize what, you want to accomplish. And it's more than just a P&L exercise. And I just listened to all three of us on here, and I think we're all very proud of the organizations we're a part of. And as I listen, again, it was really more than a business. It was kind of expanded the aperture of my thinking of these brands, and they were really doing very noble work for humanity at a very challenging time. And it's, if you can elevate the conversation with the right people, I think the process crystallized what you want to stand for, well beyond your tenure with the brand, and that it's something that, like I said earlier, will continue long after. So my simple advice is just take that first step and maybe pull in a third party facilitator who can objectively keep the conversation going to ensure that you reach your destination.
Yeah, I would second that, Scott. And I think for some simple steps, go beyond your tagline. Listen to your customers and listen to your team. Open up a dialogue around purpose. What is it? And I think what we have found since I've been with the company over the last months is that we've been able to uncover what the real essence is of our purpose. And that is a powerful moment. And it only happens, at least from my experience, not at the current company, but other previous companies, it only happens when you open up a dialogue with your team about that purpose. You've done an incredible job identifying and hiring and recruiting incredible people, talent that is the best for your business. And in all likelihood, they have at least an important, without question, an important perception about what your value is. And then you hear from your customers, listen to your customers, listen to your team, and really focus on defining what that purpose is, whether it's you align with some outside third parties, which I could recommend, or establish a core team internally that is focused on this to define what that is. It will change your business. It'll go beyond just the tagline and the marketing of who you are, but really get to the essence of what that value is. And everyone will embrace it once you open up those conversations. People, your team, your customers, and then get to the essence of your real purpose.
And so, Erica, I'll add into Sean's comments that defining that message and really knowing what it is super important. I'll enhance that to say, like, it needs to be really simple and easy for people to remember. So every team member should be able to easily say, we create meaningful connections, or we help people feel safe and secure. We innovate technology, right? It has to be very, very simple, so it'll resonate and be memorable. And in terms of making it real and having it carry through, like I literally give myself a quota to make sure that on a weekly basis, I have some story that I can share with our whole organization about how did we make a difference this week, right? How was it very real? So I know I've said this a few times, have those stories that can help make it real. That really gives people something to rally around and helps make it resonate.
That's great advice for everyone, Mary.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that giving everyone should have a quota. One great story that exposes the purpose that you've defined for your business would be wonderful. That'll really...
You beat me to it, Sean. Mary, that's an outstanding idea.
It's also my sales background coming through, right? I live in the world of quotas. Like, how do I know I'm on track? Like, give myself a quota.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, guys, Mary, Scott, Sean, thank you all so much for your insight today. I think this is really helpful. And I know I certainly cannot wait to see where your purpose leads you and see some of those incredible customer stories and employee stories come through.